Let me take that up. I don't think that's a commonly expressed view. It certainly does happen occasionally, and there are idiots who will say that sort of thing. And when writing a book about Rush Limbaugh, I've heard him say much the same thing on the opposite side, that all liberals are stupid, and that he has this a similar kind of intolerance. And I think it's disturbing when you hear that. I don't hear that very often. You can occasionally come up to some people who will universally dismiss conservatism, people who don't really understand much about it. And I think that this is the sort of thing that certainly deserves criticism, but it shouldn't be taken as something that's universal, just as not all conservatives are going to agree with Rush Limbaugh that all liberals are stupid. You really can't take the most extreme statements that the most extreme people make and say that it's necessarily the force. It may be an indication of a problem. It can, just as it is in Rush Limbaugh, I think that you have sort of a world of groupthink where people who don't get challenged, people who hear the same points of view all the time, will tend to start to think that the other side is this alien, evil presence. That what that shows is a need for more debate of ideas on college campuses, so that people can finally, once you've debated a conservative, it's very hard to say conservatives are all stupid. But if you haven't, if you've gone through this little world of talking to people like yourself, then things like that start to be possible. And so I think we need to criticize the idiots who say things like them and call them idiots, but we need to make sure that that we understand that to me, it really is not the universal view of the universities. It really isn't. There are a lot of really very thoughtful, open-minded people on the left among liberals. Sometimes they don't always show that, but I think we have to understand that is a very rare subset of the professoriate who says the kind of stupidity like that.
I wish you were right. Seriously. I have had associate deans at large universities, and I have to express it that way because it would jeopardize them for me to say this publicly. Give names. I had recently a professor tell me, keep up with the great work. We agree with everything you're saying. I could never say that. How many left-wing employees at colleges have to do that? How many? It is hard. First off, it's hard to get conservative speakers on a campus. Once they are there, it's not unusual for professors to discourage their students from going. It is also difficult to find faculty members who will be willing to debate the conservative. Check the experiences of groups like the Clare Boothe Luce Institute, the Young Americas Foundation, pretty much anybody who sends a speaker to a campus.